Have you ever found yourself lying awake at 2 a.m., thinking about that one conversation you had last week? Or maybe you're constantly replaying a decision in your head, wondering if you made the right call. Overthinking can feel like being trapped in a mental maze with no way out. But here's the truth. Overthinking isn't just something that happens to you. It's actually rooted in your brain's survival instinct. So let's talk about why it happens. What is it about our minds that leads us to endlessly analyze, fret, and overthink things? And more importantly, how can we stop it from controlling us? Okay, picture this. Your brain is like a super smart detective, always on the lookout for potential dangers. Evolutionarily, this was a life-saving feature. If you were early humans out on the savannah, your brain would constantly be scanning for threats. The more you thought about your next move, the less likely you'd be to get eaten by a lion. Sounds smart, right? But today you're not facing lions. You're facing emails, decisions about what to have for dinner, and whether you've made the right career choice. Yet, your brain hasn't quite caught up with modern life. The same survival instinct that kept you alive in prehistoric times still gets triggered, but instead of helping you survive a lion attack, it leads you to overanalyze every little detail of your life. Here's the kicker. The more you overthink, the more you feed this anxious state and the deeper you go. Ever found yourself spiraling, thinking, I'm overthinking this, but then still thinking it even more? It's like your mind becomes addicted to it. But let's break it down. Why does this happen? Your brain is actually wired to get a dopamine hit when you focus on a problem. That feeling of figuring something out or getting closer to the solution gives you a chemical reward. So, when you overthink, even if it's not helping you solve the issue, your brain still feels good about it. It's like a mental game that you can't seem to stop playing. This cycle is driven by two major parts of your brain, the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. When you overthink, the prefrontal cortex keeps analyzing and breaking down the situation, while the amygdala turns everything into an emotional crisis. Together, they create a mental storm that's hard to escape. But here's the twist. While your brain is busy trying to protect you, it often gets it wrong. It doesn't always know that there's no immediate threat, like a lion lurking. It just keeps cycling through thoughts, trying to solve problems that are often non-existent or far less important than they seem. Alright, so now we know that overthinking isn't a random occurrence. It's rooted in biology and evolved over thousands of years. But the great news is, there's something you can do about it. You don't have to stay stuck in the cycle of worry. Let's dive into some proven techniques to shut down the overthinking loop and take back control of your mind. 1. Mindfulness, the art of living in the moment. If you've heard of mindfulness, you're probably familiar with its calming effects. But what you might not know is that mindfulness is backed by hard science as one of the most effective tools for managing overthinking. By focusing on the present moment, mindfulness helps to disrupt the constant flow of racing thoughts. When you tune in to what's happening right now, you're shifting your focus away from the spiraling thoughts in your head. And it works. Studies have shown that practicing mindfulness can actually reduce activity in the areas of the brain responsible for overthinking. So, the next time your mind starts racing, try to take a step back and just be in the moment. It's like hitting the pause button on your brain. 2. Reframing, changing how you see the situation. Here's a mental hack. Challenge your thoughts. Reframe them. When you catch yourself spiraling, ask yourself, is this thought really true? Or am I imagining the worst-case scenario? What you'll often find is that your thoughts are blown out of proportion. Instead of getting stuck in the worst-case scenario, shift your focus to what's actually happening. This shift in perspective doesn't just make you feel better, it changes the way your brain processes information. Reframing turns the chaos of overthinking into clarity. 3. Control what you can and let go of the rest. One of the most liberating things you can do is accept that you can't control everything. In fact, the more you try to control, the more you end up stressing. Focus on what's in your power, your decisions, actions, and responses, and let the rest go. When you learn to accept uncertainty, overthinking doesn't have the same grip on you. This doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It just means freeing yourself from the need to control every little detail. 4. Self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Overthinking often comes with a hefty dose of self-criticism. You might beat yourself up for wasting time thinking, or tell yourself you should be doing better. But here's the thing. Self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools in the battle against overthinking. When you treat yourself with kindness, it's easier to quiet the inner critic and accept that mistakes are part of being human. When you catch yourself being harsh or judgmental, pause. Speak to yourself as if you were talking to a friend. The difference it makes is remarkable. So, how do you stop overthinking for good? The answer isn't about thinking less. It's about thinking differently. By practicing mindfulness, challenging negative thoughts, letting go of the need for control, and showing yourself compassion, you can retrain your brain to stop overthinking. It won't happen overnight, but small shifts in how you think can lead to powerful results. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the one thing you overthink the most? Do you have any strategies for breaking free from the cycle of overthinking? Drop a comment below. Let's get a conversation going and learn from each other. This is a topic we can all relate to, so let's share our experiences and solutions. How do you stop overthinking?